Okay, we had the new parts come through from the factory. We'll get them on the car ahead of FP1.
Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to an episode of my F1 2018 career mode, episode number 116 today for the German Grand Prix in Season 6. If you guys did miss the previous one, then add the British Grand Prix, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. But entering Hockenheim then, we have a minor engine upgrade to the power, and Renault plateau, surprisingly for once here, so we actually make gains on them, so we're getting closer and closer to them, slowly but surely, but it's still going to be a long grind. Obviously, we've got the ultimate upgrade now coming in for the Belgian Grand Prix, so once that comes in, I think we might make a good stride towards reaching that pinnacle, that top peak that they've been at for the entirety of this season. But we go into Hockenheim then confident of what we can do around here. It's a really fun track. I love to drive it in this game, and generally I go quite well. We've had a few off races though here, so it depends on the race strategy as well. You know, there's opportunity for people on one stops to do quite well. We'll have to see how it goes really, but first and foremost we have to get through and survive Saturday qualifying, so we get through into Q2. But I talk about survival, one man that did not survive was Max Verstappen, my teammate, not setting a lap time there. So I don't know what went on for Verstappen. I don't know if he had an issue with the car that just retired him to the entire garage for the entirety of Q1. He got caught up on every single lap he tried. I don't know what happened exactly, but he did not set a lap time, unfortunately, so he is out of the first part of qualifying. And to my surprise as well, both Mercedes cars at their home Grand Prix here at Germany are out in Q1, because both of them were very weirdly tried to qualify on soft tyres, and so both of them out. And so Ferrari are kind of helped out a little bit there, because they might have actually a good chance of getting into the top 10 for the first time this season, maybe, with three major players out and unable to make it through to the top 10 shootout, let alone Q2. So we'll see how it goes as we're in Q2 then. Our first run, a little bit deep in the hairpin, or quite deep into the hairpin, so not going to be a good first run, but this is on a scrub set of ultra soft tyres, because I want to make sure I have two fresh sets ready for Q3 if I can help it. So we go through the final corners then, riding the curves very aggressively indeed as Ricciardo goes fastest of all. We're across the line though, P3 will become P8 eventually, so I feel the need to go out for a second run because I wasn't entirely comfortable. P8, you know, that might pop down. You can see Valtteri Bottas in the Sauber goes faster than us, so we're down to P9, so that kind of shows that I was probably right to go out just in case, because if the Sauber can out-qualify me there, then my time probably wasn't that great. So the flag has dropped. We're through the last couple of corners. We've got the Ferrari just ahead of us there. A little bit of understeer on that right-hander initially as we go through this last corner then and across the line, and it is going to be, thankfully, up into the top 10 shootout then in Q3, but only P7 there, so some time to find maybe for us. But look at that, for the first time this season, and I think that is a Ferrari car makes it in the top 10 shootout. It's Kimi Räikkönen then that makes it through in P9 then, so surprising stuff there. But the two Renaults looking pretty good. The Force India actually looking very, very decent. Ocon and Perez here, so the Force Indias, I didn't actually remember if they upgraded this weekend, but they're looking very surprisingly on pace here. So we have to pull up our socks and run and do a job, so we're on our first flying lap here. So it wasn't too amazing of a lap time, I'm going to say, a little bit wayward with some oversteer in the last corner there across the line. I say that, we go provisional fastest, but obviously no one's really set a lap time there. So by the time we go out for another run, we're down to P2. So although I didn't think it was a great lap, it's still P2. So you know, take the word, my word for it, not the top left. I didn't think it was a very good lap time, and you can see what I mean by the time we come through the last three corners. Look how much time we've gained on the top right. We're in P3 behind Pierre Gasly. Can we go pole position maybe? It's across the line, and it's only going to get us P3. We're P3 already. We gained so much time, you know, over 7/10 I think that was, and we still come P3 because Carlos Sainz pops in a much better lap time there, and he's in second place. Ricciardo first place. Look at the margin Renault have to us there. So they really flex their muscles, and in the end Fernando Alonso gets P4. Gasly goes all the way down to P8 in the end of it. But what I thought was a stonking lap for us is actually a little bit further off still, the front row of the two Renaults. So they might be pretty good in the race, but also at the same time, you never know. If we hit traffic, there might be an opportunity to try and overtake them. So I'll never say never. Let's go to Sunday and see how things shape up.
Good afternoon and welcome to a place that is very special to us all in the Formula One community. It's the Hockenheim Ring, home of the German Grand Prix. Always good for a close scrap is Hockenheim. Think back to Alonso, Ricciardo, Vettel as recently as 2014, and I'm expecting some more strong racing today. With average lap speeds of around 130 miles per hour, the Hockenheim ring is a quick circuit with a lap distance of 2.8 miles, around 17 corners. The main DRS zone through Parabolica leads into the hairpin for the best overtaking opportunity on the track. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about the engineer. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
Let's have a look at the starting grid then ahead of the German Grand Prix for Season 6 of F1 2018 Career Mode. A good day yesterday for Daniel Ricciardo on pole position, but second place will be myself lining up there with Carlos Sainz having a grid penalty. So we are on the front row sharing that with Ricciardo. Fernando Alonso in third place there. Van Dorn P4 doing well for the Toro Rosso boys. The two Force Indias then on the third row. Pierre Gasly P7, Raikkonen P8 doing well there. Leclerc, Romain Grosjean, Valtteri Bottas. There is Carlos Sainz in P12 with engine penalties. Magnussen then Hartley. And then you got Vettel and the other German, Nico Hülkenberg, with Lance Stroll, Sorokin on the second last row, with Max Verstappen down in P19 with no time set, and Hamilton in last place, head of the German Grand Prix. Right, so here we are unexpectedly on the front row of the grid for the German Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz, the championship leader, has been dealt a big blow with an engine penalty there, so he's going to have to contend with traffic in Hockenheim. Although the back straight is very inviting for passes, it can be frustrating in Sector 3 in the stadium section with traffic. So that is going to be hopefully a good aid for us today in the championship to try and get some points basically on Sainz. We did that last episode. Could we do the same here today and get some points off the Spaniard once again? It's going to be a two-stop here to two sets of soft tyres, and we're going to reduce the fuel there as the Honda engine is pretty damn fuel efficient as of late. But here we go then to 5 red lights. So the German Grand Prix from the front row of the grid. 4 lights are out and we're underway, and it's a good getaway for us in the first 2 gears there. Great launch, but into turn 1, Ricciardo will ultimately still have track position there. We had a little look, put our nose in there, but Ricciardo just had the better line on the outside, so we have to settle down for P2, but at least we got a great launch and maintain P2. Fernando Alonso P3, then with Van Dorn still P4. So remember, the real people to look at behind us will be the likes of Verstappen and Carlos Sainz. How can they do today and how can they come back? But for now, we still focus on ourselves. We're on lap 2 now. We have a good run on Ricciardo. Could we get the race lead here? No DRS, just overtake mode and rich mix, but we get in the slipstream there, reduce the drag behind the car, and now we go to the outside there, but Ricciardo very late on the brakes. We try something on the outside, doesn't work out. I had a little look to see maybe if I could go back earlier on the switchback and maybe get the acceleration down a little bit faster on the exit of the hairpin. Didn't work out as I wanted to, so we have to be patient and wait on to lap number 3 as we set the fast lap of the Grand Prix. Ricciardo did go purple, but then I went even faster, and so here we go now, looking on the outside of the right-hander, but we take it nice and easy because I know I got a little bit tighter on that line, and it's set ourselves up for this launch off that left-hander onto the main straight again now, this time with DRS. Rich mix going overtake mode, a little flick to the right, flick of the wrist, and we're up into P1 of the German Grand Prix and take the lead. And so now it's all about controlling this first part of the race. It's a 2-stop for us today. Obviously we have to start on ultra soft tyres, and so it's going to be a very early pit stop around maybe even lap 4 or lap 5 onto a set of soft tyres. So just making sure we stay ahead of Ricciardo at this stage of the Grand Prix. So we are going to do that. A lot of understeer though through that right-hander, so definitely time for us to come in as the tyres are starting to go off somewhat there with quite high tyre wear for all soft tyres. But now we go to the end of the Grand Prix on 2 sets of soft tyres. The crucial thing will be trying to get through traffic when we can, and hopefully not trying to get stuck up behind that right now, as Ricciardo's gone on for 1 more lap. So he's gone for the overcut, and it could work out for him if we can't overtake the cars ahead of us, which do include Lewis Hamilton, the man who started at the very back of the grid after he had a grid penalty. So now we move on to lap number 6. We are behind our fellow Brit, the man we actually fought quite hard for what was 3rd place at the time at the British Grand Prix last episode. We're making a very sweet move to the inside. They're up into P12 now, facing behind the home favourite there, Sebastian Vettel. He's not already been in contention for many points this season. I think he's got the sole point for Ferrari so far, but now we're going to overtake him with ease down the inside there, up into P7, and looky who it is. It's Max Verstappen, our teammate then. Obviously he had an unfortunate Q1 session down in P19. He's making his way through though. He's P6 at the moment. Obviously he's going to try a 1-stop here from the softs to the mediums, so that might work out quite well. We've seen many times before Hockenheim Hockenheim, the one-stop is very powerful if you can make it work and you have clean air. And we've seen my teammates in the past make it work, because remember, when I was teammates with Raikkonen, he came through to win the Grand Prix from P15. But at the moment, I'm still trying to overtake Verstappen if we can and try and spoil the party. But at the moment, it's proving difficult because we've got a two-man fight there up ahead of the Mercedes of Hulkenberg, I think that is, and the Haas. I can't quite tell which one it is, but both of them scrapping away there. And not only is Verstappen getting held up, but I'm getting held up as well. So at this stage, frustration. This is the traffic that I didn't want to hit, but already Ricciardo's made his pit stop. He's behind me. If you can look there, there's the yellow car of Ricciardo behind. So we don't need to worry about being overtaken by Ricciardo. Both of us are going to get hit with this traffic. Honestly, this is just the phase of the Grand Prix where sometimes maybe the one-stoppers can make a difference, basically. If they can hold us two stoppers behind as much as they can slowly phase into a race-winning strategy. So we have to be careful, obviously, in this traffic. It's easy to make some contact, but we need to also make this a little bit quick and overtake these guys. So we go on the left-hand side, on the outside there of Magnussen and Verstappen. Magnussen, though, squeezes me towards the left, but we get a beautiful little move to the inside there. He eventually backs out of that, and Verstappen looks to maybe overtake him in a straight line with DRS. But here we come now at a rate of knots, and Hulkenberg there. You can see the Honda power coming in clutch. We dive it to the inside, but we come in a little bit too hot, a bit too confident, and under the braking, we just can't get it slowed down, and Hulkenberg makes the switchback move work, and he's back up into P3. So a little bit too overconfident in my powers in the car, but you know, I was quite surprised, to be honest, at how quickly we were closing up on Hulkenberg. Meanwhile, behind, Ricciardo is trying to overtake Sebastian Vettel. He does so down the inside there, so he's making his way through the traffic. Next up is the Haas and then also Verstappen there, so hopefully Verstappen can do me a favour and hold up Ricciardo as much as he can. But of course, Verstappen's in his own race trying to make his one-stop work, and if it does work out, he could actually be racing us for, I don't know, the top positions hopefully as well. I don't really know obviously where we are quite yet. We need to wait for everything to shuffle out, but we make a very nice move on Hulkenberg, and once again overtaking a Mercedes car in the stadium section. And so we're up into P3. P2 at the moment is a Haas of Romeo and Grosjean, and first place is Valtteri Bottas in the Sauber. So for now, we're still very much in race-winning contention maybe. We'll have to see how things work out once we make our second stop, and we have to see where Verstappen and the likes of the one-stoppers basically are, because we've seen in the past, it's come out of nowhere pretty much sometimes where one-stoppers can win a Grand Prix. So we have to wait until maybe about lap 20 to fully know. But at the moment, I'm watching on this fight, Grosjean v Bottas. Couldn't make a move there, but we did close up quite a fair bit in the hairpin now. Can we make a dive to the inside there, just in front of the Mercedes grandstand? Here we go, lock up on the front left. That takes us a little bit wide, and so some contact is made as Grosjean is a bit too over-aggressive, trying to turn into me basically and trying to keep that position. But we do get up into P2, and now we'll try and swiftly move on to get to the back of Valtteri Bottas. But before we get to that, Verstappen is going to be the one that actually makes an overtake maybe on Grosjean there. Ricciardo not too far behind Verstappen to the inside there. Ricciardo, though, is lurking around. He'll have a good slingshot here onto the main straight. They'll both have DRS on Verstappen here, so let's see what they can do. Ricciardo pulls to the left and looks like he'll go for a move there. It's three wide maybe, as Ricciardo is overtaken not only the Haas car, but has also overtaken Verstappen. Verstappen down the order then, and he's back down to P4 effectively, and Ricciardo is the one in P3 as we now move on to lap 13. Bottas has done quite a good job at being a mobile chicane. You can see how much he's holding me up at the moment. Through turn one we go though, and on the exit we're able to finally make a move to the inside for P1 to get back into the race lead of the German Grand Prix. But Bottas is doing quite a good job of that Sauber to be a bit of a thorn in our plans here, as Ricciardo now is on the back of the fin as we go down this straight. It's not only Bottas we have to worry about, because there goes Ricciardo again on the left hand side, the long way round. It's three wide into the hairpin, both of them way more confident under the brake zone there, and Ricciardo though ultimately squeezed out, and we go toe to toe once again with Bottas for the race lead, and we have to try and be as bold as we can under the brake zone there on the next left-hander. But a bad lock-up for us, and so that will be Bottas getting up into first place. So he does a great job, to be fair to him, at maintaining this race lead. He's doing some good defensive driving so far at Hockenheim. So we go even further into this Grand Prix, staring at the back of that Alfa Romeo Sauber onto lap 14. This will be 20 laps to go in this Grand Prix, so plenty to go. And now we make another dive to the inside, this time to turn one. So a nice eager move there, opportunistic. Ricciardo comes through. We're going to go very defensive and then kind of park it at the apex pretty much. But Ricciardo is round the outside, I think there. I think he's on our inside. Yes, he is. we made contact. Ricciardo pushes us off circuit a little bit there and gets very handsy and elbowy. Now Bottas comes out of nowhere. Verstappen's coming out of nowhere. It might be 4 wide nearly into the hairpin. Verstappen way on the inside there. We're going to have to try and defend against him and also attack these guys. Look at this. The top 4, top 5 even, surrounded literally by less than a second. Absolutely awesome stuff. You could have thrown a blanket over us there at the hairpin apex, but we're still side by side now with the car. It's Verstappen on the outside. We go in front of the Mercedes grandstand. We're back up into P2, but Ricciardo now has somehow got the race lead. So the last thing I wanted to happen pretty much was let the Renault, that should have theoretically the better pace on paper, out in the lead with clean air, but we are keeping up with him. The race pace once again, just like in Austria, the race pace for our car is much better here at Hockenheim than it was in qualifying over 1 lap on lower fuel. So here we go on the outside. DRS, easy move for us with overtake mode and rich mix going there as well. And so we're back up into the race lead of the German Grand Prix. Ricciardo maintains P2 as Verstappen eventually comes in for his first and one and only pit stop there, along with Bottas, the Haas and the Mercedes car as well. So all these guys have done a very good job, to be fair, on their one stop so far. So they will have a very good chance of getting into the top points paying position. So we're now going to come in on lap 17. Ricciardo actually continues on for one more lap, but we've gone so quickly into that pit lane that we hit the gravel a little bit. Thankfully, didn't cause us too much time loss, but we're now in for our second and last stop onto soft tyres. And now let's see where Verstappen is in all of this. We were a little bit slow, of course, fighting Ricciardo there, but let's see. I think he's on the outside. I think I saw a little glimpse of Verstappen's front wing there going through on the right hand side on that camera shot, and I think he's through as we come out behind both Mercedes cars there side by side with Hamilton. I think this is down the inside of our fellow Brit, and so we're in P13. But look in the mini map there is Verstappen's dot ahead of us. So now a bit of an overtaking montage here as we try and go overtake Hulkenberg. A bit of catching him napping there at the hairpin up into P12, and we're not going to dawdle anytime soon. We're going to overtake Leclerc pretty damn rapidly there. A very sweet move to the inside there, full throttle, full commitment on the right-hander up into P11, and then also we won't waste time overtaking Romain Grosjean onto that next lap on the main straight, down the inside into turn 1, up into what will be P7, and it might be P6 as there is Ricciardo. He actually did jump us in the pit stops there with an overcut, so the traffic did affect us, but we just about managed to get ahead of him then at the end of sector 1, up into P6. Ricciardo there will come back at us with DRS, maybe even the Haas car as well. He's on mediums though. He's gone to mediums, so the Renault guys once again thinking their car does not have the tyre wear for this, whereas Red Bull are confident I can get to the end on soft tyres. I'm confident we can get to the end on soft tyres. We go do battle once again with Ricciardo side by side, but on the exit we get the better traction, swerve across on the racing line. We're going to defend the inside line. He's going to have a go on the outside, but no use for him, and we're going to maintain that P6 position and go chasing after Verstappen, our teammate, who's also on mediums, remember. And here we go now, lap 21, setting up this slingshot overtake as we go very early on the brakes on purpose to get a nice switch into the apex there. Get a nice slingshot on the left-hand side. We go a little bit wide though with some dirty air, but open up DRS, overtake mode there, or hot lap, as I'm just focused on actually getting the overtake done rather than actually changing my ERS modes. But there we go to the inside, but Ricciardo is also coming through. It's 3 wide between the two Red Bulls and the Renault. Ricciardo has been so nasty today at trying to move on the outside there, the hairpin. He's been so good at that. It hasn't worked out though, but thankfully for us, Verstappen's maintained the position, which will be a net P2 in this Grand Prix eventually, but yellow flags behind us, and it's going to be Ricciardo. He saw contact between the two Renaults. The two Renaults have made contact there. Carlos Sainz with front wing damage. Ricciardo slow on the main straight, and no, you're kidding me there. Once again this season for, I can't remember, the 5th time I think, or so, or something like that, Ricciardo is faced with a DNF with a mechanical failure, and that's the replay of the damage on Carlos Sainz. And so it's a bad day in the office for both Renaults. He's got major front wing damage, and that is happy days for us, remember. Carlos Sainz is the championship leader. He leads by 10 points going into this race. And so at the moment, we lead the Grand Prix in net position because, of course, Perez was there in first place, still yet to make a pit stop. But we will lead the Grand Prix eventually. And Carlos Sainz is going to have to make an extra stop in this Grand Prix, holding on the two Toro Rosso cars there. He comes in on the very next lap for an extra pit stop, so he'll be out of the points-paying position. So if we pull through the race win, we'll get a whole 25 points on him, and we'll be 15 points ahead in the championship, because it was we're 10 behind, add on 25, that's a 15-point lead. So it's looking very, very good for us. And on lap 24, The full safety car is called out then, and dare I say it, that might be for another incident with Carlos Sainz, maybe. We'll have to see, but we're in first place. Verstappen's P2, Van Dorn's P3. It's a 1-2-3 Honda, and it's a 1-2 for Red Bull Honda at the moment there. It is very, very happy days at the moment, but absolutely unbelievable. Another mechanical failure for Dan Ricciardo. You can't write this stuff, and you can't write this stuff coming up, because Carlos Sainz is diving down the inside of the Williams car. They make some contact there, and that is why the safety car is out. Carlos Sainz slow with a puncture then on the front left tyre, and so I wonder, was that because of the damage from the Williams car, or did he get a puncture before? Because that was a very weird dive down the inside of the Williams car, I got to admit, because he went across the grass a little bit. Here he goes, overtaking the Williams car, trying to get back in this Grand Prix. And there, the puncture happened before he made the overtake, so that's why he made a dive. Is because he couldn't slow the car down, because he had a random puncture. So how unlucky can you be? You already hit your teammate and had a front wing broken to make an extra pit stop, and now you have to make another extra pit stop for a puncture there. It's gone from bad for worse for Carlos Sainz, as we just about narrowly missed the safety car there, as I didn't really know where it was, and I wasn't ready for how slow it was going there, so narrowly hitting the safety car. That would have been quite embarrassing from the race lead, but yeah, we're still 1-2. But oh my god, I mean, Ricciardo left Red Bull this season for Renault for pastures new. You know, he had that retirement at the Brazilian Grand Prix in Red Bull last season. That kind of maybe signified the leave, and you know, the reason why he maybe wanted to leave was the bad reliability, because 2 seasons, season 4 and season 5, Ricciardo started winning races at the start of the season and then just lost it because Red Bull were too inconsistent. He leaves Red Bull and he gets faced with even more, arguably more inconsistency there, because he's DNF'd way more at Renault than I think he did at Red Bull, to be honest. That was more just inconsistent results rather than pure mechanical failures and DNFs there. So quite bonkers stuff, and really unfortunate for the man, to be honest. But you know what? We're going to take it. We're going to have a smile on our faces, because it's a 1-2 for Red Bull Honda here as we go to the restart of the safety car. Then green flag's going to go. Obviously, we effectively become the safety car, so we control when we go. We're going to go halfway through this section then in the straight line there, try and pick up the traction as fast as we can. And it's a very good bolt away as we get away massively from Verstappen, who's so slow on the exit that Van Dorn, look at the top left, Van Dorn has already got him for P2. He's on soft tyres though, to be fair. So Verstappen's on mediums. He's going to be a little bit susceptible to being overtaken maybe, as Van Dorn straight up into P2. So it's the 2 soft tyre runners in 1-2 in this Grand Prix. And eventually as we go through then, it's actually going to be Sergio Perez who's the man on the mission here, down the inside of the Mercedes car, right up the chuff then of the other Toro Rosso of Gasly. But he overtakes both the Mercedes cars already at this restart then. He's side by side though still with that Mercedes. If I can't quite tell who it is, it's either Hülkenberg or Hamilton, but he's still trying to get the job done. He's also going to make a second pass then on the Toro Rosso of Gasly as well. So a double overtake as they're 3 wide momentarily, but Sergio Perez up into P4 this Grand Prix, and he's actually going to go chasing after Verstappen. And unfortunately for us as a team, on the last lap of the Grand Prix this is Sergio Perez round the outside. It's so overcast now because there's actually some rain coming at the end of this Grand Prix, but the race is not going long enough for us to see that rain. But Perez up into P3. Verstappen comes back at him though, trying to desperately keep the podium position, but he can't do that. And so Perez flies the flag for Force India, doing a great job there in P3. But there is Van Dorn P2, and here we come though in P1. It's been a miraculous race for us. We started on the front row of the grids. We did it all on track though, but we were already in the lead of this Grand Prix before Renault's demise, so I'm very, very happy with that. It's going to be the win at the German Grand Prix here, weaving around. That's how you do it.
I think that's the race win.
Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
So it's an absolutely awesome win then at the German Grand Prix. Verstappen P4, very good recovery to be honest from P19, very good stuff. But both Renaults then out of the points paying position, and so we swing up into the lead of the Drivers' Championship by 15 points. This is a miracle moment in the season. This might be very pivotal with both Renaults out there, because Constructors as well, we're ahead now by a fair few points. Could this be the turning point? We haven't even caught up Renault in development yet, and yet we're ahead now. So could we do a Brawn GP GP and just maintain the lead, control the lead we have in the championships, and try and control this. At the same time, whilst we try and control the leads, we're going to continue developing the car, so this may be doubly good in terms of attacking from both sides, defending the lead we already have that we've locked into in a way, but then also continuing to develop to the point where we can actually legitimately fight the Renaults then for the wins maybe at the end of this season. So we'll have to see. But I say about luck, that was no luck for us. We had already gone to the lead of the Grand Prix before Renault had those two issues with Ricciardo and Sainz, so that was on just pure performance there. And Verstappen, if it wasn't for the safety car, I think Verstappen could have got the second place there, to be honest, and we could have had a 1-2 for Red Bull Honda at Germany. So that's unfortunate, but still such a good episode for us and such a good race victory for me. That felt really, really sweet. Some awesome battling. The hairpin had so many moments there, 3 wide. Absolutely awesome. The team's very, very happy, of course. And so, guys, be sure to smash that like button if you did enjoy that race yourselves. But going to the end of the episode, then, we're going to purchase another minor engine upgrade. We've also already got the ultimate upgrade coming for the Belgian Grand Prix in 2 episodes' time, remember. But for next time, the Hungarian Grand Prix, we'll upgrade the ERS system to allow us, this will allow us to use hot lap mode and overtake mode way more often in the race, which will come at advantage of us of having a faster race car, and will also maybe help us over 1 lap in qualifying there. So 2 more engine upgrades coming our way in the next 2 episodes, and that might just see us bridge the gap to Renault in 3 episodes time. But guys, yeah, like I said, if you did enjoy the episode, be sure to smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, do subscribe for weekly full-on content. I've been aarava. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.